Welcome to Food All You Never Wanted to Know. If you've never tried it, whole grain barley flour is a wonderful flour to use. But the only way you're going to get organic, fresh barley flour is to grind it yourself. So we periodically buy a 25-pound bag of hulled barley berries, which means it's whole grain barley, and it's been hulled so that you can grind it. And this came from Natural Way Mills. It's USDA organic, and that's the information if you need to get in touch with them. We bought it through a local store that orders from them. So we're gonna get these stored for a little bit, not super long-term storage, not 30 years, but a couple years, fine, and we'll use it up probably within a year. So my wonderful husband is helping me with this because this is super difficult to do with just two hands. So we basically are pouring this in half-gallon jars. Just a quick note, folks, always label everything. Would I remember 6 months from now, hey, those jars, are they wheat? Are they this? Are they, what are they? Are they barley? You'll know if you label it, and you'll know what date you put it in the jars. Same thing with seed saving. If you don't label it, or if you don't label that row in your garden somewhere with a map, you're not going to remember. Well, maybe you will. Some of us might not be able to remember. So always label everything. Okay, took a few more jars than we thought it would. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 half-gallon jars. This is also a half-gallon jar. It's just a little different shape, plus about a cup. So this is an excellent way to store grain. I've spoken about it before. You take a canning lid, put the canning lid on, and you put a plastic screw-on lid. So if there's any moisture in the air, the moisture will stay out and the lid will not rust. Now, if you're sure where you're keeping it is going to be dry, you could put the canning lid and the metal ring. That's fine too. Make sure they're nice and tight. I'll tighten this up after I'm done with this. But you've got some grain that if you keep it in a cool place will keep for several years. Very well, very fresh. You could put it in a refrigerator to keep it extra cool. Just be sure the seal, now you're not going to can this. You're just keeping this tightly closed, okay? You can keep it colder if you'd like. Just make sure that no moisture can possibly get in there. I prefer just to store it in our basement because our basement is very dry. So this way you'll have grain that you can cook. You can cook this as just a grain to eat. You can do this with wheat too, really any grain. It's a whole grain, it's good for you, and my fingers have tomato tar. Sorry about that. I was working on my tomatoes yesterday and forgot to wash my hands in vinegar afterwards. So it's good to eat. It has good nutrition, high fiber. It's a whole grain. And if you have a grinder, you can grind it into a flour that can be used in many, many different ways, mixed with wheat or not. This is a good way to store all grains and all beans too, dry beans. Don't keep them in the original container, or you could put them in the original container and put them in like a metal trash can that's tightly closed so that critters don't get in there. But I like this method. It's worked well for us, and we do rotate our grains, so we don't have to worry about them getting 30 years old. So this is Food All You Never Wanted to Know. get doing some food storage, and this is something that will keep a long time, and it could go along with some of the other things that are normal foods for you to eat. And if you learn to eat these on a regular basis, these whole grains, you'll be healthier for it. So take care.